Hello everyone, this is Rito here, and today we're taking another look at some Warcry Warbands. This time we'll be checking out the Corvus Cabal and the Cypher Lords and determining what a good list for them would be, which fighters are valuable, and how they compare to each other. I'm going to compare the lists I come up with in the end as well. So, starting off, we have the Corvus Cabal. The leader option is the Shadow Piercer. You have to take him. He does a solid 6 points of damage, nothing spectacular though, especially for his 185 points. It's just average. Most 185 points models would do this much at least. So yeah, average survivability as well. I like his triple ability, his leader ability that allows guys around him to have more attacks. I'm not so sold on the double of the Harrying Raven, because it only stops enemies from disengaging, not from moving. So you will have to be in combat to make that useful. And none of these guys, as you can see, are very survivable. So you don't really want to stick enemies in combat with your guys. I think you'd be quite happy to let them leave in many instances. So yeah, not bad, but not great. But anyways, you're stuck with him, so you have to take him. Then we've got the Shrike Talon. The Shrike Talon does more damage, 6.7 per action. That's good damage per point value, although he costs the same points as the Shadow Piercer, but obviously does more damage. He's very similar to the Untamed Beasts dog, basically, to the, what's it called? The Rock Tusk Prowler. So he has got a very similar kind of setup, same wounds, toughness, and movement. And as we all know, the Rock Tusk Prowler is good, the Shrike Talon is good as well. He doesn't get the Beast Rune mark, so he can open doors, obviously. And he has a pretty nice triple ability that can be very useful when you are using a map with dense terrain. Right, so yeah, I like the Shrike Talon. I think he's quite good. Then we've got the Spire Stalkers. At 5.4 damage, they are still packing quite a punch. Not that expensive, 120 points I think they are. As you can see, good damage per point value. Only 3 actions a week taken down, 15 health. They've got decent point value there, average. Yeah, I think these guys are good, but they are relatively expensive, and the ability they get isn't that amazing. It just allows them to basically fly over terrain, which can be fine, but I don't see using it more than once in an entire battle. I'd say, personally. So, not bad, not great. Then we've got the Cabalists. We've got the Spear, the normal one, and the Familiar. The Familiar is the one with the bird, basically. The normal Cabalist, he comes in at 65 points, does 2.7 damage per action, which isn't bad, honestly. It's in a good point value. So for a chaff model, this one isn't bad. One activation to be taken down, though. Yeah, to be expected. Only toughness 3, 8 wounds, so this is a squishy model. Then we've got the Cabalist with Spear. He does more damage because he's got the same amount of attacks the normal Cabalist has. He costs 75 points, so 10 points more. But as you can see, this is almost a full damage point more, because his crit damage is higher. So on top of that, with the 2-inch range, that will keep him out of range of an opponent, possibly making him more survivable. And as you can see, his damage per point value is brilliant. So I really think you should go for the Cabalist with Spear for your chaff options for this warband. These seem very, very good. Then we've got the Cabalist with Familiar. He only costs 60 points, so even 5 less than Cabalist. As you can see, his damage is lower as well. He's got 1 less attack. Yeah, the only one other than the Shadow Piercer that's on a medium damage per point value in this warband. Same survivability as the other guys, but only 1-inch range, so I really don't think this guy is great. I've talked about the Harrying Raven double before. You will have it anyways because you've got the Shadow Piercer, so I don't really see the point of bringing it another time with the Cabalist. So honestly just don't bring this guy if you have the choice. Right, so let's have a look at the list I've come up with. I think I'd go for the Shadow Piercer, obviously. 2 Shrike Talons, because that high mobility and good damage output and so on makes them quite useful in my opinion. 1 Cabalist and 5 Cabalist with Spear. Obviously the Spears are better, but just points wise I couldn't quite fit in another one with Spear, so this is one normal one. Puts me up to 9 models, which I think is a good Warband size. That gives me a lot of options. Don't have any Spire Stalkers in there, but just comparing the Spire Stalkers to the Shrike Talons, they aren't that much cheaper and they just bring so much less to the table than the Shrike Talon does, so I think this might be the best way to set up this warband. Obviously there's other possibilities, but I think this might be your best bet. Yeah, puts you up to 995 points, and that's that. Let's have a look at the Cypher Lords then. For the Cypher Lords, we've got the Thrallmaster as the leader. He does a whopping 8.4 points of damage. That is crazy. This is very rare. Like, most leaders have less damage than this. That is very nice. I suspect we're going to see something similar when we are going to look at the what's it called? The guys who chop their faces off. You know who I mean. Anyways, whatever. Moving on. So good damage per point value there, which isn't that uncommon, which is kind of uncommon for the leader. For activations, we take down medium value there, so all good. I think this is a good one. He does have an ability to teleport the mind bounce as well, which is also quite nice. So all in all, a good model. Then we've got the Luminate. He's basically like a light version of the Thrallmaster. He gets the same ability to throw models across the table. Almost as good damage, even 2-inch range, not only 1. So yeah, very good damage. 7.6, that's elite tier damage. But this still does cost a lot of points. I think it's 180 points at least. So still very expensive model, but yeah, very good damage output there. Fine survivability, so Luminate also very good. Then we've got the Mirror Blades, we've got the Glaive and the Sword variant. Yeah, the swords, they do a bit more damage, 0.7 more. And they are in this 0.06 damage per point value, which is very rare. So 0.05 is already, to me, very good. This is highest tier. But 0.06 is amazing point value. This is really, really good point value for the damage. Yeah, just to keep in mind, they've only got the 1-inch range, and therefore they will be taken down quite easily. They don't have that many wounds. They have toughness 3, so it's a bit of a trade-off there. I think personally the Mirror Blade with Glaive is good enough. 6 points of damage is already great per action. Very good damage per point value as well, and having that 2-inch range might be very useful for these because it just keeps you out of harm's way a bit more. So I think the Mirror Blade with Glaive is the way to go. Then we've got the Mind Bounce. Yeah, similar damage for both of them. Relatively low, although again 2.7 damage is not bad for a 75 point model. Both of them have 10 wounds, which is actually nice. I think the Mindbound are, as chaff models go, they are pretty good. So you can see decent survivability and good damage out of the Mindbound. The Mindbound with Glaive gets an extra ability that lets him chop through enemies around him, like throw a dice and for each enemy within 2 inches and give them some damage. So not the best, but not bad. Yeah, I think both of these could be justified to bring them. So yeah, interesting warband here. What I do for a list is the following. I'd obviously go with the Thrallmaster. then I wouldn't actually bring the Luminate, because the Thrallmaster already gets the ability to teleport your guys. I don't think you need the Luminate to do it as well. He does do good damage, but he's also a lot more expensive than the mirror blades are. And yeah, I just think the mirror blades are amazing. They are brilliant value, so I would get 4 mirror blades with glaives, um, the Thrallmaster, and then 3 mindbound with glaive and 1 normal mindbound. Just for points reason again. I think the glaives are a bit better, although it's very close. I think for the mindbound you can go either way. Anyways, I split them up like this. Overall, I think if I compare this list to my Corvus Cabal list, the Cypher Lords are going to be a bit stronger. The damage output out of 4 Mirror Blades is just really, really good. The Thrallmaster is very good damage and good abilities as well. Yeah, the Mindbound are 4 Chaff models, they are quite good as well. So I think they are a bit better than the Corvus Cabal are. The Shrike Talon is good, don't get me wrong. But for example, I don't understand the Spire Stalkers. They deal 5.4 damage per action, have 1-inch range, and 5 for 15 as compared to the Cypher Lords Mirror Blades with glaives. They have 5, 3, 10. Okay, they are more squishy, but the damage is just so much better and 2-inch range, and then they cost 20 points less on top of that. So yeah, I just think the Mirror Blades are a bit better than the Spire Stalkers are. So yeah, this is my 2 cents on both of the warbands. I hope you enjoyed. Please feel free to tell me what you think, and see you in the next one.